Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Listeners, it's a day of days. First off, this is the first episode in Lost Legacies history where Sam and I are actually sitting in the same room. Sam, it's nice to meet you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you too. Happy to be here.
Yep. Yeah. So we're trying this, you know. This whole podcast started in a pandemic. So it was because we couldn't be in the same room, and then we just didn't change because why?
Well, we are also still in the middle of a pandemic.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. So, but you know, we're safe.
Yeah.
We've got jabbed. We're all good. Everything's muy bueno.
Yeah. So we're trying it. We hope the audio is going to sound good. If it doesn't, if you have any complaints, you're just going to have to kill us.
pretty. You know, you're much more intense in person than over Zoom.
Well, audience, I done biffed it.
He beefed it real good.
Yeah,
folks.
Sam and I, we watched the first episode of season 4 of Lost.
Yes.
However, there's something very important that we skipped and we didn't get to. So we're actually not talking about episode 1 of Lost season 4 today. We're talking about Lost Missing Pieces. Now, Lost Missing Pieces was what? It was like 12 or 13.
I think it's 13.
Minisodes that were released between seasons 3 and 4. I think it was good. You know, yeah. I mean, a casual viewer could just skip them. But I don't know. We got some interesting insight with these little minisodes. Now, so let's jump into the history a little bit. Because in season 2, they did their first, the Lost Experience, which was their ARG? I don't know what this stands for. Advanced Role Game? I don't know.
Okay.
But it's the first multimedia, like, scavenger hunt game they did online. After that, they immediately started working on a second one, which also aired between seasons 3 and 4 and actually ended 2 hours before the season 4 premiere.
Oh, wow.
Now, it's weird. The reason I didn't want to talk about it on the show is because it's not technically canon because it was made by like a company that specializes in like online games.
Okay.
And Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof were like, hey, you know, things might change for the show. So we're just going to say it's not canon. It was very interesting, though. And it was really cool. It's one of the reasons like Lost kind of blew up because this is mid 2000s. This is like 2005, 2006. So those online scavenger hunts and stuff, this was like one of the first big ones.
Okay.
Global, you know?
Okay.
And, they even had like in the middle of one of their Comic-Con panels, this lady like interrupted and kind of ran and stopped the show. And she started calling out the showrunners saying that their show Lost, they're working with the Hanzo Foundation. And if you want to know the truth, visit exposehanzo.org. So instantly everyone's trying to go to exposehanzo.org.
Yeah.
So, and nowadays we see that a lot. The MCU does that with like Loki, you know, breaking into panels and stuff. But like this was like a big deal. This is a first.
Yeah.
There was a lot of commercials. That movie Jumper had a trailer and there was like a Dharma logo in there somewhere.
Huh.
So they had like big time commercials and distributors, I don't know what you want to call them, like throwing in little like Lost Easter eggs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So all of this is to say, this whole time through the first 3 seasons of Lost, they're always trying to see, okay, how can we step it up? Then they had the idea of doing minisodes. The original concept was that Hurley finds a working Dharma video camera. So you as an audience member would get brand new, not seen on the show, Dharma like orientation videos, but you'd also see certain events happen and like Hurley kind of like talking through them, kind of describing them. But for whatever reason, like that fell through. And eventually they evolved into this Lost Missing Pieces, which the showrunners kind of used as they were just able to explore different things that they weren't able to do in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll kind of get into that. But what's very interesting about this is, again, this was like one of the first times this happened. So the actors had to be paid for these minisodes.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to negotiate new contracts for the actors. Especially as we saw, there was a lot of returning characters who are no longer on the show.
Yeah.
They had to return for these mini episodes.
Interesting.
And like a lot of the cast were in them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they had to do negotiations. They're like, well, it's not like a full episode that you're working on, but it's still going to be distributed globally. How are we going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that is one of the reasons why the writer strike kicked off in Hollywood around this time of season 4, because Lost was the first show in history to say, hey, we're actually going to write contracts and include these minisodes into our actors' contracts. So they were probably renegotiating anyway because 3 seasons had already passed.
Yeah.
So they ended up including this in there.
Yeah.
Or it was just something separate. But that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that was one of the reasons the writers also wanted similar deals. And it wasn't just Lost. It was like shows everywhere. So you and I remember this vividly because we were watching so much television back then.
Yeah.
But like Hollywood shut down for weeks.
Yeah.
No one was able to, it's a writer strike, so no one was able to write. So all the shows everywhere basically just halted.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to figure out, what are we going to air? We don't know, yada, yada.
Yeah, I remember I think that was when Craig Ferguson was still doing his show, and yeah, I remember like it was just him. Like he had to write all of his own stuff, and a lot of those talk shows were very, very rough.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I guess they just ran like a bunch of reruns for different shows.
Yeah, I believe so. And then even once it finished, like seasons were shortened. I remember that was season 3 of Supernatural.
It was like 12 or 13 episodes
in what is usually like a 22 to 23 episodes show.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Now, Lost up to this point had always been like 22, 23, 24 episodes.
Mm.
I think it was already going to be shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons 4, 5, and 6 are much shorter than the first 3. But season 4 ended up being 14 episodes. So I don't remember a lot. I mean, we'll probably find out as I learn more about the season as we watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is that originally, because of the writer's strike, it was only like 12 episodes, I think.
Mm.
But then once the strike ended, ABC was like, go back to work immediately. You get 2 more episodes, and they're like, thank God, okay. So they were able to get 14 episodes this season.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring that up because the Lost minisodes was part of that,
That's fascinating.
Yeah, they're seeing what the Lost cast got, and they're like, we want that too.
Yeah. No, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you have to pay the people that you hire to work on your stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pay your artist.
Pay your artists.
Tip your waiters.
5-star your Ubers.
Yeah, only if they're good, though. Only if they're good.
I mean,
there's a lot of shady people.
Yeah.
In those car shares. But there's also a lot of nice people.
Exactly.
I just remember, what is it, SNL? I think it was Aziz Ansari. He's a passenger, and like it's all about him really hitting it off with his Lyft driver.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm gonna give you 5 stars. He's like, thank you, sir. I'm gonna give it to you as well. When he's walking out, because I guess you could rate your customer as well.
Oh, okay.
So as he's walking out, the car runs him over. I was like, oh no. He's like, why'd you step in front of the vehicle? Anyway, Quick side step before we go on. Speaking of SNL, you gotta watch the new episode, Pedro Pascal. It's so dumb, but he is having so much fun. I laughed so hard last night.
I did. I saw two of the sketches. Yeah,
I loved it, man. Yeah. I love it. Protect that man at all costs. San Antonio kid. He's from Chile, but he, when his parents immigrated, they were in San Antonio until I think he was age 11.
Really?
Yeah. And they even they mentioned what elementary school he went on. I was just reading an article about it. I don't remember. It's not one I recognize.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was a San Antonio kid.
Oh, that's cool.
And he always says he always thinks about San Antonio as early mornings because he was a swimmer as a kid. Mm-hmm. So he remembers getting up and his mom getting ready for work and he has to go swimming and stuff. I was like, oh man, that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the article is talking about how San Antonio has claimed Pedro Pascal as one of our own. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know, sure. He's also from Chile, but okay.
Yeah.
We could claim him.
Yeah.
Which is funny because San Antonio has also claimed Baby Yoda.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Little Yodito, I am here for him.
There was so much Baby Yoda at Fiesta. It was insane. It was wild. So we'll just get the whole Mando family.
Yeah, let's do it. I want this Fiesta. I want to make a Mando float. You know, just get a cool cosplayer. You know, it's like, hey, give you the Mando armor, and then we'll get one of those little robot Baby Yodas. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
I love it. It's gonna be a hoot. Oh, so we were talking about that, me and Dad, because we saw a comedian talking about how Star Wars is very Mexican.
Oh yeah.
One, you have Chewie.
Yeah.
Very Mexican name. And he does the Chewbacca noise. He's like, you can't understand what he's saying, just like Mexicans. And he's also a mechanic. But then he says, but really, the real Mexican one is R2D2. Mm-hmm. He's like, he even sounds like Spanish. R2D2. And then we were talking about Rey. Rey's a very...
That's a big name.
Yeah. But also the thing she eats in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
She pours the water and...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Concha.
Yeah, this is Concha.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Disney, get on this. Get on the okay. I'm still upset. I'm still not forgiving Disney for trying to copyright Dia de los Muertos. Well before going into production on Coco.
Yeah.
But they tried to copyright Dia de los Muertos. So here's how you make up for it, Disney. Use that $1 billion that Star Wars and Marvel are giving you every year and make instant conchas.
Instant conchas.
Instant conchas. I will forgive you.
I love that.
If that happens.
I love that.
This Christmas 2023. Make it happen, Disney.
Wasn't Danny Trejo in the Boba Fett show?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
Yeah.
And Robert Rodriguez is directing a lot, so it's just getting more Mexican.
Exactly.
I need to start watching it.
Dude, Diego Luna is Andor, which is the best Star Wars show. Man. It's fantastic.
I need to catch up.
Yeah, you got to. It's great.
Geez.
But we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about Lost.
I know.
Missing pieces.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If you're just tuning in, if you're just joining us, welcome. We're talking about Lost Missing Pieces.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's jump in. 13 scenes. Little shorts. First one. Jack and Ben are playing chess. Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the conversation really gets put into perspective when you view it in conjunction with the first episode of season 4, because they're like, it's not necessarily like callbacks, but Ben does say a line that gets spoken in the episode, and you're kind of like, oh, that's like, so it's kind of interesting. So I feel like we can't necessarily talk about that scene without talking about the pilot, or not the pilot. Sorry, without episode 4. But I think it's a very well written scene. I think it's the only one written by Brian K. Vaughan. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's still a great scene, and it's still like it's interesting because it shows like where Jack is at, you know, and like this is still at the point where he's like he's getting more comfortable being around the others. I'm assuming this is, just moments after he was throwing the football with them in that very dramatic scene.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I still think it's a good
episode. I mean, what's actually happening in the scene and what they're talking about, like, it's not spoilers or anything because it happened like mid season 3. But you're right. With the context of episode 1, it's like, oh. Now, we did watch episode 1 first, so we got that context.
Yes.
So, like, when this aired, it wasn't out yet, so it's not so much. Oh, also, these videos were uploaded to, like, all Verizon phones, which I think is also why the quality was kind of bad.
Yeah, because we saw it on the DVD, and, like, the sound quality was not great.
Yeah, I mean, if they're outside, you heard just, like, ocean only. I was like, oh, man, this is rough.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was good. Okay, next scene. Jack meets Ethan for the first time.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That would have helped, even if it's just a little scene, because we talked about that a lot. How Ethan, he was obviously the bad guy. He was like the one character who keeps showing up who isn't one of the main survivors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It would have been nice to have this little moment. So that's probably why they added it later. Same thing with like Arts. Arts is in a few of these episodes. Like it would have been cool to just have, well, I've said it since the beginning, find really talented actors as extras. There's so many people trying to break into acting that extra work is the only work they can get. I was one of those guys. You can find the talent.
Yeah.
They're there. You just got to give them a shot. You hire them as extras, and the ones you like, you keep bringing them back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the thing that, we've talked about it before, how like that happens with some of the people in Star Trek, like Next Generation.
Yeah.
Like some of them, like they only get maybe a line, maybe they don't get a line, but like they're part of the bridge crew, or they're in like an officer meeting or something.
There are extras
and they show up for a while.
Who are on all 7 seasons of Next Gen and in most of the movies. Like they even brought them back for the movies.
Yeah.
There was one, I forgot what her name was. She wasn't in all the movies, but she was in 1 or 2. But there's like a online petition to bring her back for the final season of Picard. I was like, dude, I mean, that would be cool. That would be so cool. Oh man,
that would be fun.
Yeah. But so yeah, that I'm glad we got this scene. It was good. It would have had more impact in season 1.
Yeah, it would have.
Okay, the next one, however, The Adventures of Hurley and Frogurt.
Who the heck is Frogurt?
I feel like this is the only scene that's like, we didn't really need.
Yeah.
Like, he's just some idiot who's a survivor who's like, I don't know, trying to hit on Libby, but he's waiting for Hurley to get out of the way. Like, yeah, it was just kind of like,
yeah, it was not a great scene.
Yeah, Neil Frogurt. Like, I like the idea, the concept, but like this guy's just annoying, and I think it really sucks because we know at this point Libby's probably already dead, and Hurley's just about to find out. So it's kind of weird. Like I just don't see the point of this.
Yeah. Also, dude, your name is Neil Frogurt.
Yeah.
This is why we have to stop enabling white men.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that. Maybe that's his archetype on this show. All right, next one. Walt?
This was interesting. Yeah, because it's just Ben and Juliet.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep wanting to say Elizabeth. No.
Well, that's the actress's name.
Oh, that's
Elizabeth
right.
Elizabeth Mitchell plays
That's
Juliet.
That's right. Okay. And we're on first name basis.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Friend of the show, Lizzie Mitchell.
Lizzie. Anyway. Yeah, it's just Ben and Juliet. Like there's a panic, like there's alarms going off, and like she's telling Ben that he needs to go talk to this person right now to calm him down. And yeah, then we get taken to the outside to see just how dangerous.
She's saying she's not going in, and no one else, none
of the other,
because they're scared.
Yeah, everyone else is scared. And then she shows Ben why, and then we go outside on this little like rinky dink like metal staircase, and we see on one of the platforms a bunch of dead birds beneath a boarded up window.
Yeah,
and if you know, you know, like this is Walt. They're talking about Walt
for sure. Oh, and they do mention that his dad is out there looking for him.
Yeah,
Juliet's like, why don't we just let him go? Blah blah blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, they couldn't bring the actor back because that was one of the reasons for writing him off the show. He was just growing too fast.
Yeah.
So this is what, 3 years after, or 4? Yeah, 3 to 4 years after they started filming on Island. It's only like 91 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only been 3 months.
Man, it's been a rough 3 months for everyone.
Yeah, I know. And at the same time, I'm like, wow, only 3 months? So much has happened.
I know.
And what's crazy too is that like season 3, I want to say it was like a span of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the last 2 weeks have sucked. Next one. What's the next one? Oh, the next one is with Sun and Michael. They brought Harold Perrineau back for these episodes. That one was very. This one's rough, man, because like I feel like we needed this in the show. I don't know why you would include this in a mini-sode. Well, I know why. Essentially, the showrunner said that the original plan was that Sun and Michael were going to have like an affair. They're going to end up getting together. And I mean, there's a lot of clues in season 1, especially earlier on. But the fans loved Sun and Jin so much. They're like, we can't break them up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone was surprised. Everyone's surprised because Sun and Jin, again, like a lot of these characters, there wasn't a big plan. They just loved the actors so much that they wrote characters for them. And that was the case with Sun. And then they just gave her, it was an emotionally abusive husband.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll see what happens. And it turns out Sun and Jin, the actors' chemistry was amazing. The fans loved them. You really could tell that they were in love, you know? And like, so much so that we wanted them to get back together, get back to being in love.
Yeah.
And I think they're one of the best like TV couples in history, you know, in TV history. So that's a good call. So it was nice to see this, where basically the scene is Michael catches Sun trying to bury her California ID, which we've never seen on the show, but we did know that she was trying to escape to America. And he even says like, you don't have to explain yourself, but she does. She lays it out. She was trying to leave Jin. He's no longer the man she married and fell in love with. And they get really close. They're so close to kissing. Man, their faces are right there. And then Vincent starts barking and he saves the day. Like, damn it, Vincent.
I think this is a good scene, one, because it gives Michael and Sun just like more. Yeah. It's like, one, it's always great, to see Harold Perrineau. And yeah, just like having the two of them sort of like not necessarily affirm, but address that idea of cheating, of infidelity, because I think it's like it was sort of laid out there too in the context of those early episodes. Like, I think like, Michael's kind of looking at Sun, you know, and I feel like that was, again, like you said, like that was maybe part of the plan. So yeah, like this for me, it was just like, okay, like those ideas weren't unfounded. Like there was definitely attraction there, but good old Vincent, plot hound Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plot hound Vincent. I like
that. Glad that he showed up and did what he did.
Yeah. Crap. My next one just says, would have been nice to have that in the show.
Uh-oh.
Which one comes next? Let me Google it real quick.
If you're just tuning into us now, welcome. We're talking about Lost Missing Pieces. Also, this could be where your ad space is. If you want to sponsor Matt and I doing more Lost Legacies, I think we've got great rapport. We've got great chemistry. We've got somewhat of a long running history, between us. I guess that happens when you're brothers making a podcast. So yeah, your ad space could be here. If you so choose. If you want, you can contact either one of us. You can contact Matt via Twitter at _Matt Jimenez, or you can contact me on Twitter at Reel, that's REEL, Texas Weirdo.
Okay, so here's the thing. We watched these on the DVD in the order they're available on the DVD. As I'm looking it up here, that's not the order they were released.
Gosh darn it.
So, okay, I think I found it. I think this one, yes, Operation Sleeper. This scene is
that's right.
Juliet wakes up Jack in the middle of the night in his tent and basically tells him that she's still working for Ben and all this stuff. It wasn't new info. Like at this point in the show, this is stuff we already have. But what was that? Season 3. That storyline really bothered me. I did not like it because Jack was just being Jack. He's like, I know better than everyone else. You should just trust me.
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, why? It was just needlessly complicated.
Yeah.
We didn't need to mistrust Jack for that long, only for it to be like, oh, yeah, we should have been listening to Jack. Like, that wasn't how you do. Like, I understand that they wanted us to question Jack's loyalty and stuff, but that wasn't the way to do it. Like, especially because it went nowhere. It's like, yeah, Jack's doing everything he can for the survivors. This scene would have been brilliant to have kept in the show. Yeah. Or, I mean, they didn't write it till now. So this is something we needed to really kind of hammer home that story, make it just more believable and not as annoying.
Yes.
That's the big downside to this whole series. Nobody talks to each other. Now, even if the characters aren't talking, you got to be giving something to your audience, That's why I think the scene would have been great in season 3.
Yeah.
Next. Oh, a rare good Christian Shepherd moment.
Oh, yeah.
This is back from season 2 or something.
2, I think, yeah.
Where we see Jack has his flashback to when he gets married and he's having his doubts and he's questioning. And Christian Shepherd, his father, shows up in a rare moment of goodness and basically tells him, no, you made the right choice. I mean, I guess that's kind of what this scene was as well. It was just more. Yeah. It's just nice seeing this good side of Christian Shepherd.
Yeah. Like it's very, it's very light, it's very small, and it is just sort of, good old Chris being like, hey, if you ever have kids, try and be a better father than I was to you. It's like, that's a very, and I feel like for this character who, we've run the gamut on how awful of a person he could be, but we've also seen how awful Jack can be to him. And it's kind of refreshing once again to see like people are complicated and people are messy, life is messy, and sometimes the people that are just real sleazebags, real scum, sometimes they give you important lessons, and
that's the thing too. I mean, like, because I don't want to defend Christian Shepherd in any way, but even to call him the scum, the sleazebag, like that's how the way the story plays out, that's how we're meant to feel about him.
Yeah.
But once as the story continues and we start figuring out his past and figuring out the sequence of events, we start to realize that Jack, his son, is the reason he relapses.
Yeah.
You know, there was a point in time where this was it, where he was a father, you know, and he seemed to be on good terms with his son and he was giving good advice, but it was Jack's own mistakes and insecurities and pride that led his dad back to drinking, which eventually kills him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and eventually it leads him
to the island.
Well, yes, but it leads Christian Shepherd back to being that despicable person we're talking about.
Right.
You know, because we've seen traces of it. You can't blame it all on Jack, but like he was doing better, and he was doing great actually. You know, and it's like, oh man, that changes the context of it all. You know, so that's a great that's a good character, man.
Yeah,
someone where like there's just so many facets to that character. So also, I don't know, his ghost is walking around the island, so I don't know what's up with that.
Yep.
Next one. Jin loses his cool on the golf course.
This was
nice. It was just kind of a little fun one. Like he has to hit the ball in the hole in this next shot to win, and he misses it, and he freaks out, and he's shouting in Korean. And this is one of the rare moments where they give us subtitles for Jin.
Yeah.
Because most of the time we don't know what he's saying, and he's just like laid it out. Everything he's mad about. He still has the handcuff on. This had to be season 1.
Yeah.
He still had the handcuffs on. Nobody understands Korean. You know, all he wanted was to win this game. One little moment of happiness. And he couldn't get it. And he even ends just by repeating, he's like, I'm so alone. I'm so alone. And even Hurley and Michael are like, maybe we should just leave him alone. And like, it ends with them leaving him there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Poor Jin. But at the same time, we've seen how far he's come since season 1. And I'm like, I think you'd be all right.
Yeah.
Next one. This is the one where we're guessing is right before the season 3 premiere, where Juliet was baking.
Yes, because you said that we had seen this before. Like she was baking something and she burned herself.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That does sound really familiar.
And I don't know who this lady is. She's one of the others.
Yeah.
She walks in and she could tell that something's wrong with Juliet. It's not that she burned her hand. And it's probably Ben. Oh, and she even said something to the fact, did Ben tell you how he feels? Like, ooh. Has Ben trying to ask her out?
From the context, from the way the conversation played out, it felt like she was trying to ask Ben out.
Who, Juliet?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I picked up on. Yeah, it sounded like yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Oh, maybe. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, because I mean, the line was, did Ben tell you how he feels? I'm like,
okay.
And she's like, it's complicated. It's complicated.
No, okay.
Trust me, Sam.
That makes more sense.
I've heard that line before.
Oh my God.
More than once.
I feel like you've said this line.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
No, I haven't said this. I'm the least complicated guy.
Speaking as your brother. Our next missing piece.
Well, no, anyway, so this was just a good little scene hinting at
the x-rays.
Yeah, the hint at the x-rays. So that she doesn't actually reveal it to the lady, but you do kind of get the context that like, oh man, Juliet's she's afraid what's going to happen if Ben dies. You know, yeah. And we kind of see how everything goes to shit. Like, he doesn't even die, but like, he's sick. You know, there's kind of a power play. All this stuff is happening. Ideas, man.
Crazy. Cults, am I right?
Yeah, right. Next one is where Juliet goes to talk to Michael. This was season 2.
Oh, yeah.
When he makes the deal to bring back his friends in exchange for Walt.
Mm-hmm.
And
a boat.
And a boat. And again, it's kind of stuff that we already know now. It's just kind of good to see this because we do find out like exactly what the deal is that Michael makes.
Mm-hmm.
And Juliet kind of explains why she's still following Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because he saved her sister. Even though she knows she'll probably never see her again, she did everything she could to save her sister.
Mm.
We didn't need it, but both Elizabeth Mitchell and Harold Perrineau are fantastic actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such like an emotionally driven scene. I'm glad we got it. It wouldn't have fit in season 2 because we knew nothing about. Oh, because Juliet wasn't in season 2.
Yeah,
we knew nothing about her. And she also name drops Ben.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it would have. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Like in hindsight, yeah, it doesn't make sense to put that in an episode at all.
Yeah.
But it's nice. That's what these little minisodes.
Yeah, they're able to go back and do that.
Yeah.
know? So,
yeah. And it's cool. And also, like, if you're gonna get Harold Perrineau back,
yeah, let's give him something with some meat.
Yeah, let's give him some meat. And I feel like, yeah, he kind of, he gets to do a lot in a lot of these shorts. So.
And that's something we need to bring up too, because I know we're just kind of like explaining the scene and just like commenting on it real quick. But like listeners, like these aren't just like deleted scenes that they decided to add back in.
Yeah.
Like they really took the time and wrote these scenes and the actors brought their A game to it. It's just like they're filming like little pieces of the show.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the reasons like I really want to watch it, like this is Lost. This is a part of Lost that I think we should experience, just these little moments. So, so the next one is Arts. Arts is back.
Yay!
Michael basically asks him what's the weather going to be like tomorrow, and he admits he doesn't know. He's not a meteorologist. He's a high school science teacher, and he made it up. He just wanted to contribute.
Yeah.
But then he starts talking about he basically like catfished this lady.
Yeah.
He goes to Sydney to meet a woman. He uses his buddy's picture. But they still go out to eat. He buys the lobster, and then she leaves and never comes back, and he can't even return the lobster.
Yep.
Like, and instead of staying in Sydney, he gets on the first flight out, which is 815.
Yeah.
But just the performance of Arts was so funny, and Michael's a caring guy.
Yeah.
He stays. He's kind of annoyed, but he stays, and he even tells him, he's like, "Look, man, everyone here has a story like that." And he's like, "It's okay." That was a good little moment. And he even says, he's like, "I just want to wish you the best on the raft, and when you come back, I'll be the first one waving you in." I'm like, oh, Arts.
Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel and unusual.
Oh man.
Yeah.
More Arts. If we're gonna have flashbacks, give us more Arts.
Yeah.
That's where my notes in. The next one was where they're talking about the caves.
Yeah. Arts comes up.
Yeah.
Basically like arguing like, why are we going to the caves? Like if we want to, we're gonna stay on the beach to stay alive. He's yelling at Sun and Jin, who at this point,
I know you don't speak English, but when we have to vote, I'm like, vote no.
Yeah. That was fun. That was funny.
It was a fun little scene.
Well, it also started off kind of funny too because we don't see them.
Yeah,
we don't see them, but Jin is talking about these two people on the beach looking at each other lovingly. And
he's like, "Oh, they're lovers."
Yeah, they're lovers. And then Sun looks up and she just is like, "No, that's Shannon and Boone.
Yeah.
Like they're brother and sister." And he's like, "What? How do you know that?" And she's like, I just guessed."
Yeah. Yeah, that's when no one knew she spoke English at that point.
Yeah. I just thought that was kind of funny. Like, oh, okay. You know, it's just like we've said, nobody really stays dead on Lost.
Yeah.
They always come back.
Yeah, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Even though we don't see them, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about Shannon.
It's like in loving ways, you know?
Yeah.
It's never just extra. It's never cheap. You know, when Lost brings people back, like in this case, they didn't actually bring back Boone and Shannon, but they did address them, you know, and then like bringing back Michael and Walt are not dead. They left the island, but to bring back Michael and to address Walt in these mini episodes, they're done in a very like a respectful way. You know, it's like we're not going to do something cheap. Like a lot of shows have done in the past, like, oh, the twin brother arrives just so we can keep the actor around, you know, or anything like that. So like they're all done in really cool, kind of creative ways. So yeah, and again, that was just another scene with Arts, and of course they hear the monster in the jungle, and he's like, okay, I'll see y'all at the caves. And then the last one, Sam, which I think. It's very fascinating. Please explain the last one for us.
So the last one opens up just in the grass, and we're very low to the ground, moving through the grass. You know, it's like, oh, and then changing direction suddenly. But we see like luggage just strewn across the jungle floor. We hear a lot of like screaming. We can hear like some kind of
the
like
audio design was good for this one.
Yeah, for this one it was pretty top notch. It was pretty crazy. And then somebody whistles and the camera turns and starts moving to this pair of black slacks and white shoes.
Yeah, white sneakers.
Yeah, white sneakers. And then it cuts to Christian Shepherd in the jungle looking at Vincent, who comes out of the forest like Winnie the Pooh. And I thought it was really funny how like the camera is just like low. And so what has to happen is that like we only see like up to Christian's knees. And so then we have to change the camera angle so that we can see him kneel down and pick up Vincent's head, because dogs can't look up. They just confirmed, the Lost Writers confirmed that they believe the dogs can't look up. Yeah, so he has to pick him up and like, he just like, he's scratching him, telling him he's a good boy. And he says, you need to go into the jungle and you need to go wake up my son because he's got things to do. And then Vincent goes off, and then it's very creepy and ominous. And then we see we're taken back to the very first scene of the very first episode of Lost season 1, where Jack wakes up in the middle of the jungle. You know, it's like really dazed and confused. And then here's a snap of a twig and Vincent shows up. And then runs and almost kicks his head running away. And he's like, oh. And that's what spurs Jack awake. Yeah.
Interesting.
Loved it. Yeah. So it's like, it's all these little tying, weaving things in together. Yeah.
And back when the show was airing, I was kind of like trying to adapt this for my own, not for anything, but I'm like, how would I do Lost, but with comic book characters? So I had like this storyline of like Marvel characters and DC characters like waking up in this random place and having to work together. So I had a character for everyone, but it wasn't just that. It was like I started pulling characters from all different properties.
I remember.
And Winnie the Pooh was like my Vincent replacement. I was like, Pooh Bear's just walking around, going through these little adventures, not knowing the danger he's in or how much he's actually helping and saving people. I gotta love Pooh Bear, who's now like a demon slayer.
I saw that Kickstarter earlier today, and
I think that's a lot cooler than the horror movie for sure. Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Saint Robin, demon hunters. I'm like, interesting.
You know, I firmly believe that, you know, if you're gonna make a horror property based off of something that is now IP, you want the main character to be the good guy. Yeah,
just there was like, well, maybe not respectful is the word, but this one is kind of respectful. They just made Winnie the Pooh a badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, like I don't want to see
I don't want to see
Pooh and Piglet on a murder spree.
Yeah,
I want to see them fight the killers.
Yeah, yeah. Avenging Eeyore's death, you know? Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So anyway, yeah, I guess weird plug, but, you know, to...
Go check out that Kickstarter, Winnie the Pooh Demon Hunter.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh Demon Hunter.
But however, I don't know when it starts, because this episode... Actually, Sam, this episode will be premiering February 13th.
Wow.
The day before Thanksgiving? Not Thanksgiving, I'm sorry. Wow.
Are you okay?
Oh, God.
Are you okay? Listeners, I think my brother just had a stroke.
I know.
Wow. You mean the day before Valentine's
The day before
Day.
Valentine's, Mistress Day. That's what the 13th is.
Well, our bookstore is calling it Galentine's Day.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
All the gals go and take themselves out.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work... I don't know if I mentioned this on the pod before.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked about it. I used to work at Barnes & Noble at the Grove, which is like a super nice shopping center in the heart of Hollywood. All the rich people go there. All the celebrities go there, so there's always paparazzi.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a step down from like Beverly Hills and Rodeo Drive.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you get the celebrities, but you also get like the common people because it's a Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
You know, with the movie theater and all.
Mm-hmm.
One of the coolest, best candy stores and farmers market. Anyway, working at Barnes & Noble, February 13th, never failed. You'd see all the rich guys come out with their very, very young dates. I mean, it could have been the daughters, but...
It's the Shannon and Boone thing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. So, and a few of them we would see the next day on Valentine's with their wives.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim. What? Welcome back.
Yeah, weren't you just here?
Yeah.
I saw you yesterday.
You're here with your daughter, right? Oh, man.
Oh, great. Yeah, wonderful.
I saw a picture, speaking of age gaps, of a picture of the wedding at in Return of the King. Mm-hmm. Except it says a few years from now, and it's Arwen looking the same, and it's Aragorn just all white hair and stuff. It's like, oh, is this your daughter? It's my wife. Yeah. But technically, she's the one who's like 1,000 years old.
Oh yeah, she's way older.
Aragorn's like
87.
He's like 87 in the movies, right?
He's literally 87. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Kind of like a half elf. Half elves live to about 150.
Isn't he essentially a half elf? Because
I
his
think
father's
so, right?
human, but his mother's elf.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Elvish. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I guess so.
I don't know. Whatever.
Half elf, but without the elf side.
No, maybe I'm getting that wrong. I know all of the Tolkien fans who also listen to this podcast are just throwing their papers.
Man, they threw the radio out the window.
Yeah, I think. No, maybe he's not. Oh, I think it's just the ancestry. Yeah. It's the ancestry. There's like some elven in there, and then I think it's just because of how he was raised.
Yeah,
through like the Dunedain and all that. This is a podcast about Lost. I don't know. I don't know jack about.
We're talking about Lord of the Rings, Valentine's, and Mexican Star Wars.
Yeah.
So essentially Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I really enjoyed these episodes. I'm glad I remembered, because I was watching episode 1 last night. I'm like, when did those minisodes come out? I'm glad I checked, because it's not that we needed to watch it like in order, but it was just nice, except for like that first scene, because like you said, between Jack and Ben, like there's a little context to go watch that after watching episode 1.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I guess, guys, next week we'll be talking about Lost season 4 episode 1. Yeah. Anything else? It's kind of a short episode.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think this was a short episode. I think we talked about as long as we did.
Oh, this is a normal episode. Our episodes usually go long.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Short for us.
Yeah. Well, anything you want to plug, Matt?
No, but you have something to plug.
Yes.
Well, when does that go live?
Oh, it already went live.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah, I do have something to plug. So listeners, as of this recording, today Well, no, that's going to be confusing. As of this recording, there is a new Kickstarter that I'm a part of that is live right now. It's hot and ready. No, can't say the other thing. It's fresh. I can't say hot and fresh because that's like the oh wait, no, the hot and ready is from Little Caesar. Oh, we just got slapped with a defamation.
Oh no,
I'm being handed my summons.
It's the extra most bestest.
It's oh god, $5 foot long.
I'm McLovin Sam's new Kickstarter.
We're gonna have to edit all of this out. Anyway,
just do it, Sam.
Look, I'm having it my way. Anyway, all that to say, I am part of a wonderful new project. It is funding a proof of concept short horror film called Lechusa. It is written by my long friend and writing partner, longtime friend. He's not long as in like a tall person. He's my height. We're Mexican. We're not that tall. Sorry, Mick.
All the tall Mexican guys listening to this episode just fell over.
They're with the Tolkien fans, and they're up in arms right now. I know. Anyway, Lechusa is a proof of concept short. Now, what that means is that we have a much longer script. Mickey wrote a feature-length script. The problem is we don't have the money to fund something like that. So what we are raising money for is to make a short film that we will then, he'll direct it. I'll be there supervising, and basically we're going to make this short film, edit it, and then start putting it out in some festivals to get people interested and hopefully get producers interested enough to give us some money so that we can film the feature film. So it's a very long-winded way of saying we're making a horror short film. It's if you want to think of it, it's a little bit like Evil Dead by way of A24. So it is a story about grief and trauma and trying to move on from things, and how sometimes we can't and we do terrible things. Sometimes we do terrible things after our family members die. And that includes trying to summon the spirit of our dead mothers back to life with very bad consequences. It's a fantastic short script. We've got an amazing cast assembled. We've got a fantastic crew assembled. It's going to be great. The Kickstarter is live now. I'll have it linked on all of my socials. I'll be posting about it for pretty much like the next month on socials. So yeah, if you follow me, Reel, that's REEL Texas Weirdo, on Twitter and Instagram, you'll find it there. Please go give us some love, share, and support. And I preemptively thank you very much.
Damn, I was trying to think of a tagline to give the movie that's copyrighted, but I can't.
Please don't. Oh. Part grief, part trauma, all cop.
Oh, jeez.
Lechusa.
I was trying to think of like, what's the Subway motto? Is that Eat Fresh?
Yes, Eat Fresh. Yeah.
Eat Fresh.
Yeah, Eat Fresh something.
The Lechusa movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as well, if you want to hit me up, I'm on Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. And, you could always just, hashtag Lost Legacies. We'll see it. Yeah. We'd love to hear more. If this is a good point too, because if you're one of our Lost fans and you were gone for the last 9 episodes, welcome back. You missed an excellent show. We were talking about Arcane, but welcome back. I'm looking forward to jumping into season 4 and just getting back into it.
As am I.
Yeah. So join us next week, guys. We jump into season 4 of Lost. It feels good to say it again. Until next time, get lost.